God blessed us with two wonderful mothers in the 20th century. One to teach us the corporal works of mercy, Mother Teresa of Calcutta, now Saint Teresa, and one to teach us the spiritual works of mercy, Mother Angelica. I had the privilege to meet Mother Teresa on one occasion when she was in Rome. And visiting the Missionary of Charities chapel, they always have in their chapels the crucifix and the fifth word of our Lord from the cross, I thirst, written next to it. And that's a reminder to them that the Lord thirsts for their love, and so their work, their actions, the way that they live their lives is a way that they satisfy that thirst of the Lord for their love, but also that he thirsts for the love of all. And so that too is part of their work, to help others to satisfy that thirst of Jesus in coming to know and to love him. Mother Angelica wanted to impart that idea too here at the Shrine of the Blessed Sacrament. And so you find this statue of the Eucharistic heart of Jesus, his heart's being poured out. And we think especially in the gift of the Eucharist, he gives us his very body and blood so to be our nourishment. And then we think of the statue of the child Jesus in the piazza, again, holding out his heart, inviting us to love him in return. He's loved us first, but love is returned, love is repaid by love alone. And so he's inviting us to love him in return. You know, Mother Teresa in 1993 during Holy Week, she wrote a letter to all the members of her communities. And I've often read it and reflected upon it. And she says things in there that surprised me when I first read them. You know, we think of our own thirst for the Lord, that we long for him, as St. Augustine says, that our hearts are restless until they rest in him. But Mother Teresa's emphasis in this letter is that he thirsts for you, he longs for you, he misses you and you never think of him. And she said we must be able to hear him say every day in our hearts, I love you. How could we go on even one day without that? And that when we hear those words, I thirst, it's much deeper than love. That he desires this communion with us, and he's inviting us to this life with him. He thirsts for you. He longs for you. He misses you, and you never give him a passing thought. Do you ever think about that? How much the Lord longs for you, waits for you, loves you. And so this word reminds us of that truth. And you know, as we grow in the love of the Lord, his love for souls grows in us. And so that we too want to bring others to Christ. You know, it's said that evangelization is one beggar telling another beggar where the bread is, where the Lord is, where that satisfaction, where that nourishment is. And as that love of the Lord grows in our own hearts, that desire, that thirst that he has for souls grows in our own hearts. So let's contemplate the thirst of our Lord this day. That first of all, he wants us to love him in return. Love is repaid by love alone. But also that he wants others to know about him too, in whatever way that we can, to bring them closer to the Lord. When we think again about the statue of the Eucharistic heart of Jesus, the treasure in which he remains with us and unites himself to us through all days. Mother Teresa said, when you look at a crucifix, you know how much he loved you then. When you look at the Eucharist, you know how much he loves you now, today. Right? This is the way in which all of that he accomplished on Calvary is communicated to us. That's what the Mass is. It puts us into contact with the Lord and all that he accomplished on Calvary when he said those 7 last words, that's brought to us in our time, in our moment in history, right now, through the Mass. That he speaks to us through his word, and then he gives us his very body, blood, soul, and divinity. Why? Because he thirsts. He thirsts. Yes, he had a physical thirst on that cross, but even more so, he thirsted for souls. That was why he went to the cross. He knew it was coming. He predicted it. But he went willingly. No one takes my life from me. I lay it down willingly. Why? Because he thirsts for you.